Alright everyone, Smacked here. First tutorial ever. We're going to be going over some tips and stuff on how to get your first ever win in Warzone. For people that have got their first win already, it's how to consistently win more games. Going to dedicate this video to Caleb T-Money Taylor. Still trying to get his first ever Warzone win. So this one's for you. Go ahead and drop a comment down below on how many games you've won or what's the furthest you've ever gotten, and let's get into this. Okay, so for starters, before we do anything, let's go over classes. Classes are super important. A big priority in the game is to getting your own custom loadouts. That's a huge thing. You need to be able to get it by the time the game ends. That's going to get you the win. It's pretty rare. I've never won a game without my own custom loadout. Whatever gun you're comfortable with, go ahead and run that. I like the M4. You definitely want something that's powerful, that's accurate. Attachments, people like different things, so it's whatever you're comfortable with. I've been running a monolithic suppressor. Keeps me off the radar for one, which is huge, and it increases my damage range. So I've got more range with it, and it keeps me off the radar. Definitely two really good attributes. I run an extended mag, so I've got a longer clip. I can down somebody and get the finish with one clip, which is big. Other than that, I've got a couple different loadouts that are kind of duplicates with a couple things changed. Perks. Cold-blooded's a big one. Cold-blooded should be your perk 1. That's going to help you a lot, keeping you off of heartbeat sensors, and it's going to keep you safe from thermals. Perk 2, you either need to run Overkill or Ghost. It's a hard toss-up. I'd probably say do Ghost. I like Overkill because I like having that sniper on my back. So for my third perk, I like to run Tracker because when I kill somebody, it doesn't show the enemy team where they died at. It keeps their marker off of the map, which is big, and I can see footsteps. So if I'm in a building with somebody and I can hear them, I don't know which way they ran, I'm going to see their footsteps on the ground and I can follow them. So that's why I like Tracker as my third perk. For equipment, you definitely need either a smoke or a heartbeat sensor. I like heartbeat sensors because people camp in buildings. So you can go up to the building, you can check the heartbeat sensor, and you'll know if they're in there. It's like most of the time they're not running cold-blooded, so you should be good, but you always have to be aware. Smoke's going to help you get out of a sticky situation. So if you're getting shot at, you're in an open field, throw that smoke down and it's going to save your life. If you're running Overkill, sniper on your back, do an HDR with a thermal monolithic suppressor so that you get the extra range and you stay off of the mini-map. Okay, now let's get into picking a drop and planning out your rotations. You want to go somewhere that there's not a bunch of people, but the loot is also good. So I'm going to pull up a map here that shows you kind of the top 20 loot spots, so you can pick from there, but really you need to determine your drop spot off of the zone. You can go a little bit out of zone, but don't be flying 100 miles out of the zone to land at quarry when it's at the bottom south side of the map. That's just not a smart plan unless you plan on getting in a car and driving there. So you need to commit to your drop spot. You need to know where you're going, and it needs to be planned. It can't be a last second jump. You're trying to make sure you're minimizing all risks to give yourself the best chance of winning the game. Also, if you don't know how to drop quick, there's videos and tutorials on that. Getting down as fast as you can is important. Not as important as it used to be in other battle royales, but it's still, you want to get down there quicker in case there's multiple people going to the same building. Off the drop, you want an AR. I'd really stay away from those light machine guns. The common light machine guns, stay away from that. And a shotgun's good if it's all right if it's your first gun, but you're going to want a SCAR or an M13 until you start finding better loot. Once you're looted up a little bit, you need to get money. When you get to the store, you want full armor. Either buy full armor, or if you've already got armor, great. Self-revive's huge. You need self-revive if you're playing solos, and I'd recommend it if you've already got a full thing of armor. The next thing you're going to want to buy is a UAV. UAVs are extremely overpowered in this game. Ghost is the only thing that keeps you off of the UAV. So for $4,000, being able to see where your enemy's at, that's massive. So you're going to want a UAV once you've got everything else. And then the last one is your custom classes. I personally like to wait until first zone closes and they drop custom classes. It's a little risky to get to that drop zone because it's going to be between you and an enemy team. So there's going to be somebody going for that same drop. But a lot of times I'd rather do that than spend $6 grand or however much it is, and I'd rather get my UAV and my self-revive and then go grab my class. But if you're not confident, go ahead and buy that class and get your loadout. Okay, so once you're all kitted up, you've got your UAV, you've got your self-revive, you've got your custom classes, you've got full armor, you're set. Now you really need to focus on rotations. You need to be constantly pulling up your mini-map. You need to see exactly where the next zone's going and use your marker. If you've got to rotate to the zone, make sure you put a marker at the edge of the zone so you know where you're rotating to. High ground is a huge thing in this game, so unless you're going to camp in a building, you really want to position yourself towards the high ground. If you're on the high ground, you might take more fights because there's other people looking for the high ground as well. So it's kind of whatever your play style is on this one. But just make sure you're using your marker and you're rotating on time. No getting caught in the zone. The storm's super strong in this game, so if you get caught outside the zone, you're going to die. Okay, getting into the final zone. This is where your positioning and your gun skill really play a big part. How well your team works together, how well you guys set yourself up. Do you have self-revive? Do you guys have that last UAV to use in the final zone? Things like that. You've set yourself up for the whole entire game for this very last fight. Okay? It's very important at this point that you're constantly looking at the player count. You need to recognize how many teams are still alive. You need to be able to tell if it's, oh, we've got a squad over here and a solo over here. You need to know where the enemies are, and you need to be careful on what gunfights you take. Sometimes you're forced to take a gunfight if you have to rotate and you need to kill them, kill them. Sometimes it's easier just to let them go and you can get in the zone safely. But once you're in this very final fight and there's 3 teams left, yourself and 2 other teams, this is the big tip that I have for you guys. This is what helped me get first and set a second. I was getting second so many games, and then we started changing this, and now we get first a lot more often. Third party the final fight. When there's 3 teams left, if you go in there guns a-blazing, you're going to get third partied and get second place. You need to let the last 2 teams fight each other, and then you go in and third party and finish them up. That is going to help you so much. You're not going to get second place anymore. You're going to start winning games because they're going to be weak and trying to heal, and you're going to be completely ready to go, and you're going to pick them off. All right, guys, if this video was helpful in any way, please drop a like, subscribe. New videos coming out constantly. Big shout out to Team Money Taylor. We're going to get you this first win. I hope this video helps you out. All right, you guys have a good day. Peace.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own.